I'm Matt Grubbs. The Federal Aviation Administration recently revealed that balloon pilot Nick Molesky had cocaine and marijuana in his system at the time of a late June crash in Albuquerque that had fatal results. 4 people were killed. What exactly caused that crash isn't yet known, and the National Transportation Safety Board is still investigating. But it has raised questions about what, if any, additional regulations might be needed for balloon pilots. This, of course, ahead of the Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta. And our guest this week is Scott Appleman, the founder of Rainbow Riders. He has a long history, both with ballooning and with Balloon Fiesta. Scott, thanks for taking a few minutes with us. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Matt. Happy to be here.
Well, let's start with what's in place for balloon pilots now in terms of regulations, both to get their license and ongoing training, pre-flight testing, that sort of thing.
Right now, the FAA requires for commercially rated pilots 35 hours of flight time and nominally about 20 hours of ground school, being signed off by an instructor and going through a written, in-flight, and verbal exam in order to receive your final certificate. That's basically the requirements of what is needed for a commercial license as it stands today.
Okay. In terms of testing that happens, is there annual testing? Is there drug and alcohol testing? What's in place?
As it stands today, there is a biennial flight review, which means every other year we're supposed to do a balloon flight of an hour's worth of ground study and an hour's worth of flying with a pilot of equal endorsement, commercial. And then that would basically be the only requirement for continuing on your commercial license. Now, there's many programs that are available to further your education on that. However, at this point, they're not required.
What do you do at Rainbow Riders? What's your preference right now?
Well, we try to set a new standard and a new level for folks to aspire to. We require second-class medicals of all of our pilots. We have random drug and alcohol testing of our pilots. We do annual flight reviews. We also do 4 to 6 safety seminars / continuing education that are usually 1 hour in length per year in order for us to make sure everybody's staying up on it and staying current. The other item is with Rainbow Riders, we've got guys that are here flying 250 and 300 days a year. So we're side by side with everybody. And, we're very much a family orientated area kind of group. And there's a lot of self-policing and making sure that, hey, are you up to this today and that type of stuff.
Okay. And for folks in Albuquerque who might not know, you have outfits in Colorado, Arizona, other places, right?
Yeah. The Phoenix Scottsdale market, Colorado Springs, we operate. And we have about 80 employees altogether that operate on a year-round basis in those areas.
I would imagine they talk to each other after news like this, certainly the crash, but also the report about Nick. What are they saying? Is this an opportunity for you to remind them about safety?
Oh, without a doubt, it is. I think that there's a bigger message here that the industry is going to feel a brunt on. When the crash in Lockhart took place, I was an expert witness at that. And being part of his expert witness program, you see all the details, all the evidence, photographs, reports, everything. When I came back from that experience and going through the investigation, that was the day that I came back, things changed at Rainbow Riders as far as requirements and putting in new standards for our guys and our team here. We have tried at a national level to get folks to want to participate in a program like this. But we didn't get a lot of forward movement with that. So essentially, it really came down to I'm going to take care of, and our team is going to take care of ourselves and our families and do the best that we can to represent hot air ballooning at a commercial level with Rainbow Riders.
And you were talking about the 2016, I believe it was, fatal crash in Lockhart, Texas. where a large balloon ran into some power lines, I believe it was. You talked, I think at that time, I mean, you obviously mentioned that things changed at Rainbow Riders, but you talked about the idea of a national set of regulations. Is this kind of the idea of we need to regulate ourselves before someone else does?
Oh, without a doubt. The FAA, in my opinion, is without a doubt understaffed for all the stuff that's flying around in the air. There's a couple thousand safety inspectors out there to take care of all the jets, the drones, the balloons, the helicopters, the small aircraft. So that's a huge undertaking. In order for them to be able to do that, they would need a lot more manpower. I will say that in aviation, a lot of associations have their own self-policing processes. And it's, definitely that time where ballooning needs to do it. In my opinion, actually, it's a little bit past that time. I want to hope that people are willing to embrace the change and realize that it is coming. And just because it was a way in the past doesn't mean it's the way it's going to be in the future.
The balloon community, it started off, obviously, Balloon Fiesta started off, kind of in a mall parking lot, a very casual sort of thing. Has it been resistant to this sort of change of formalizing regulations?
I wouldn't say that it's been resistant to it. I think that the industry itself needs to be able to make the investment in its sustainability by bringing in new standards and expectations. That has room for improvement at this particular point. I will say that, ballooning and the ride aspect and the sightseeing aspect has become that bucket list item. There's a lot more folks that want to do it. Therefore, there's a lot more folks that are doing it. Statistically speaking, hot air ballooning is still way safer than driving in your car. Okay, let's get that straight. The difference here is that when, in these past two occurrences, they're very tragic. And, it's one of those things that is very visual. And I think that carries on, especially in our world of social media and cameras and all that type of stuff. So, there's a lot of things that in life have changed, technology, the resources. The balloon industry needs to understand that is out there, and we need to do everything that we can to make sure that we're being the most good representatives and holding up the highest standards.
You brought up a good point. I don't know that there's anyone who saw Adolphe Pierre Louis's photograph in the journal of that crash and the envelope deflated and the basket descending and thought, oh my gosh, I can't imagine that. What has been your feedback from passengers, from prospective passengers since the June accident and maybe since last week?
To be honest with you, obviously there's the sorrow that goes with a situation like this, and we're very sympathetic to all the people involved. If indeed, and realizing that the report stuff that we have out right now is one aspect of it. So I don't think that there's conclusive evidence at this point to say this was definitely it. And also there's now question being drawn as to whether the validation of those testing. I'm not here to talk about that, nor do I have that type of ability. But I'll say that what we do is we just remind people of what we do and how we offer and our investment in safety. We want to talk about our strengths, not other bad situations or negative situations, and just reassure people that we're doing everything we can to manage all the risk for their enjoyment for a hot air balloon ride on the ground before the flight. That comes down to the personnel, the equipment, the pre-flight planning, and our just 24/7 approach to all of our pilots that are, full-time year-round, always watching the weather and the data and all that type of stuff.
Scott, in just the few seconds that we have left here, ahead of potential regulation, are you going to sort of reach out to the ballooning community, the professional ballooning community, and make some of those suggestions that you made back in 2016, 2017 after Lockhart?
I will say that I have been, I will continue to do that. At this Fiesta, we have 45 professional ride operators that are pilots and ride operations around the country that'll be here working with Rainbow Riders at the Balloon Fiesta. We will actively be getting this message out. We have every year. They're all in. That's why they're here with Rainbow Riders. They embrace the approach that we do. So we're going to continue doing what we're doing, trying to promote the good word. And also the simple fact is that everybody knows that there's pending change that will come. To what extent is yet to be seen. The government is a big wheel to turn. We'll see how and what comes out.
Scott Appleman, a sad subject, a tough subject, but we appreciate you being willing to talk about it, especially going into your busy time of the year. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.